Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is day one of a 3-day one-to-one workshop with Richard, who's behind me here. Richard's out here and we're going to be doing a few coastal scenes and maybe some other bits and pieces as well. We've got a pretty packed schedule. We've done our first early morning shoot, which we'll go back and have a look at in a minute at a location which is well known to me, and that's, I guess, one of the reasons why Richard's here, is so that I can show him places that I know. And we'll go back and have a look at that in a second. And we've just decided to stop off here by the port on the way back from that shoot because we've got some nice reflections and the tower, and it always makes for a nice scene when the sun's still fairly low in the sky, as it is now about an hour after sunrise. It'll soon be time to go and find some breakfast and some coffee, and we'll carry on with this video in the next location after we've been and had a look at what we've done this morning so far. I hope you'll enjoy it. If you enjoy this video and you're not already a subscriber, then please consider hitting subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Morning everyone. This is day one of a 3-day one-to-one photo workshop here in Spain. We've come out first morning. We were at Banyets, La Bassa de la Reina, Los Baños de la Reina, all sorts of different names it has. One of my favourite locations, close to home. We've got quite a nice bit of light already. We've been here since about 40 minutes before sunrise. It's now about 25 minutes before sunrise. We've got some nice cloud in some directions, not in the direction of sunrise unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm hopeful we might get some nice light here. First shots in the bag already. Wide angle composition using this kind of channel here heading out. There's a rock in the foreground and some nice tones in the sky. 2-stop hard-edged ND grad on to hold the sky back a bit. And I got a good exposure at 1 minute on the sky, but the foreground was too dark. I could have put in a 3-stop hard-edged ND grad, but that was darkening the top of the sky too much. So what I decided to do was do a 2-minute exposure as well, and then I'll merge those later. I think that'll give a better result than putting in the 3-stop grad. Colours have kind of faded out that way. We've got some nice tones that way. I'm just trying a shot now. I've got 16mm. I've got the bathing pools in the foreground. Horizon's probably just up a bit from the 1/3 line, and then we've got some quite nice clouds. I've got 3-stop hard-edged ND grad in just to hold the sky back, and that's giving me about 2.5 second exposure. That might look quite nice. Okay, I've taken the centre column out of the tripod so I can get a bit lower. Got this pool in the rocks here in front of me. It's reflecting the clouds quite nicely. Got a little bit of landscape and then some quite nice cloud patterns in the sky. This is favouring the foreground a lot. 16mm. Still got a 3-stop hard-edged ND grad on because the sky is quite dark. 1/2 second exposure, and I'm focus stacking because the foreground is really close. Okay, that was our morning shoot. It's now afternoon, well, coming up towards evening. We're about an hour and 45 minutes until sunset. At 9:30 this morning, the weather forecast was for virtually clear skies. What do I always say about the weather forecasts here? We've got quite a lot of cloud around. It is clearer over there towards sunset, so who knows, we might get something interesting. Just having a little potter around at the minute. Richard's out playing around with some compositions over here. I might see about shooting something now. We'll have a bit more of a wander around, and then, as I said, see what we can find for sunset. This is Cap de la Horta, which is probably best known for the lighthouse up there. But it's also got this interesting kind of layered, ridged coastline, which is quite nice. Makes for some interesting features. Okay, I've got a composition set up here. I'm having to keep an eye on the sea because I'm actually quite close to where the waves are coming in. What there is a notch in the rocks, and the waves are coming up in the middle, splashing up over the top and then draining off either side. And I'm trying to catch it as the water's draining off, almost like there's waterfalls each side of the scene. I've got 50mm lens on, and my little stopper, my 6-stop ND filter. And at ISO 200 I'm getting half a second, which should be about right to just sort of capture the water movement nicely. Now I've got a portrait orientation. I'm about as close to the water as I dare get without taking the chance on getting swamped by it. Any further down I'm going to be in the water, and the waves are not massive, but unpredictable enough that I don't really want to risk the camera for the shot. I'm using a cable release so that I can time my shots as the water's draining off of the rock, so after the waves come in and then start to recede. Probably end up taking loads of shots and just picking the best one, what I normally do with breaking waves. Okay, I played around with a couple of shots. Not really sure how they're going to work out, but nothing ventured. So left Richard doing some photographing waves up there. I'm just having a little scout around. I'm still hoping we might get something interesting at sunset. There's some really nice kind of textured cloud. I'm just hoping that there's enough of a gap out there where the sun's going down in about 50 minutes to give us a nice sunset. So I'm just having a little scout around, see what I can find composition wise for sunset. Fingers crossed we'll find something. We are about 12-13 minutes from actual sunset. Can't actually see the sun setting, but there's some light over there, and we've picked our compositions and we're starting to get a little bit of interest. So Richard's set up here, got the camera up pretty high, and he's using the sort of little ridge in the rock here going up with some water to one side. I'm taking the centre position. I got my camera a bit lower down. Interestingly, we're both going for portrait orientation. I've just got basically this sort of slightly wet area of rock forming a leading line up. There is a little bit of a reflection of the lighthouse in there, and the lighthouse beyond, and then the sky. I've got the lighthouse pretty much smack in the middle of the frame, and the good thing about that is no converging verticals to worry about. There's a little bit of colour in the sky just around the lighthouse. Hopefully we might get some nice colour, particularly after sunset. It's cooling down a bit now, but yeah, hopefully it might work out well. I'm shooting at, just to give you the specs, about 21mm I think, f11, ISO 64, no filters, don't need them. Polarizer's a waste of time shooting at this angle, and would actually kill any reflections probably anyway. And the exposure's balancing fine without a grad, and I don't really want to do a long exposure, because actually if that sky lights up it's going to have some nice texture and tone to it, so it could look really nice. So we'll just hang on, see what happens. Okay, we're getting some interesting... focus on me, thank you. Okay, we're getting some quite nice light. The sun's just dipping down over there, over that way. Quite a bright sunset there. Hopefully that means we've got a gap, which means we're going to get some bottom lighting. We're already getting that on the sky up there now. It's lighting up a nice kind of curving cloud pattern. I am going to get a shot of that because we never know when the best of the light is going to be. Oh yes, that sky is looking nice. I've actually just flipped over to a landscape format to get a shot with a bit more of the sky in sideways on, and just kind of getting the setting sun in the frame as well. I'm not too worried about that, but yeah, that is looking nice, very nice. Oh yes, I love it when this happens. We are about 5 or 6 minutes after sunset now. That sky has got some beautiful colours and textures in. The original idea of shooting portrait, I think this deserves to be shot wide angle, keeping the lighthouse pretty small in the scene. It's still the focal point, but it's small, it doesn't need to be big. There's a little bit of a reflection in the water in the foreground, but the colours in the sky are also reflected in the water in the foreground. Shooting at, I think, 16mm. Yeah, 16mm, focused on the lighthouse. With any luck I might even time one of the shots right to actually get the lighthouse flashing, which would add a little bit of extra interest as well. Okay, so there's still beautiful colour out that way, but where we've been shooting over here, the colour's now faded. So we are about 15 minutes after sunset, and it's turned out very nice. So I hope Richard's pleased with the conditions we've had. Yep, thumbs up from Richard, great stuff. So we're going to pack up now, head back and get some rest, ready for some more photography tomorrow. We've got a full day tomorrow. Where are we going? What are we doing? Ah, well, you'll have to watch the next video to find out. So if you haven't hit subscribe yet, now would be a great time to do it. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button, maybe giving it a share on social media, and let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. So thank you very much, and until the next video, bye.